It was a bitterly cold evening in the heart of the city. Ethan Walker, a successful businessman, walked briskly down the sidewalk, his mind preoccupied with work, deadlines, and the never-ending chase for success. His tailored suit and polished shoes set him apart from the weary commuters hurrying home. As he reached the entrance of a small diner, he noticed an old man sitting on the curb, shivering under layers of worn-out clothing. The man's frail hands clutched a cardboard sign that read, "Just trying to get home." People passed him by without a second glance, their faces indifferent to his silent plea. Ethan hesitated. He had always believed that success was earned, not given. But something about the old man's eyes, a deep sadness mixed with quiet dignity, made him pause. Against his better judgment, he approached. "Sir, do you need help?" Ethan asked. The old man looked up, surprised that someone had stopped. "I just need a bus ticket," he murmured. "Trying to get back home to my family." Ethan was skeptical. He had heard stories of scammers pretending to be in need. But instead of walking away, he reached into his wallet and pulled out some cash. "Here, this should be enough for your ticket and a meal." The man's eyes filled with tears. "Thank you, son. You have no idea what this means to me." Ethan nodded, feeling an unfamiliar warmth in his chest. He had done his good deed for the day. Or so he thought. The next morning, Ethan arrived at his office, his mind already consumed with the pressures of work. Just as he settled into his chair, his assistant knocked and entered. "Sir, there's an elderly man here asking for you. Says his name is William." Ethan frowned. The name meant nothing to him. "Send him in." When the door opened, Ethan was stunned to see the same old man from the night before, but this time, he looked different, cleaner, standing tall, with an air of quiet confidence. Gone was the desperate figure from the sidewalk. "I owe you an explanation," the old man said with a gentle smile. "And perhaps, something more." Ethan motioned for the man to sit, still trying to process what was happening. "My name is William Harrington," the old man began. "I wasn't lying when I said I was trying to get home. But I didn't tell you the whole truth. I wanted to see if kindness still existed in this world." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "Why?" William sighed. "Because I've spent my life building a company that values people. I built wealth, but I always believed that wealth meant nothing without compassion. So, when I retired, I decided to travel, not as a rich man, but as someone in need, to see if people still cared." Ethan listened, fascinated. "And what did you find?" William smiled. "That kindness is rare, but it exists. And last night, you proved it." William reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a small envelope. He placed it on Ethan's desk. "What is this?" Ethan asked, hesitantly picking it up. "A letter offering you a partnership in my company," William said simply. "Not because of your wealth or status, but because of your heart." Ethan's breath caught in his throat. "You're giving me a partnership, for giving you a few dollars?" "For showing kindness when you didn't have to," William corrected. "Because how a person treats someone who has nothing reveals who they truly are." Ethan sat in stunned silence. He had spent years chasing success, believing it was measured in money and power. But in that moment, he realized the truth: success was measured in character. Years later, Ethan stood at the entrance of his own office, watching the world go by. He had built a new legacy, not just one of financial success, but of generosity and compassion. Inspired by William, he had started a foundation dedicated to helping those in need, believing that kindness had the power to change lives. One evening, as he walked home, he saw a young man standing outside a cafe, struggling with an empty wallet, debating whether to ask for help. Ethan smiled, walked up to him, and handed him enough money for a meal. "No strings attached," he said, echoing William's words. "Just make sure to pass it on one day." The cycle of kindness continued. A message to everyone: true wealth is not measured by what you have, but by what you give. Kindness, no matter how small, has the power to change lives in ways you may never expect. In a world where you can be anything, choose to be kind.